And there was this guy coming in saying, hey, you good? You want to be a warm-up DJ in our club?
Ivo, tell us.
Yeah, who are you? My artist name is Eònan. I'm in the scene for actually 20 years. I had other project before in R&B, and then I switched to techno 2010, and also created a label then later on, a vinyl record label. And like, yeah, doing my thing, not too much, but on a level that I like. And yeah, that's why, you know, I like to be in the scene. And first of all, that's what I would say. Yeah.
Uh-huh. You moved to Berlin 12 years ago, you told me.
Yeah, 2013, yeah.
What brought you here?
Well, actually, I studied music management.
Okay.
And then I was living in Stuttgart before, and I was searching for a job actually in the scene. And obviously in the, capital of Mercedes-Benz, it's hard to, find a job in the music scene. And obviously Berlin was pretty attractive back then also already, because all the labels moved here. The scene was evolving already. And that brought me here. Actually, I started at a booking agency called Get the Gig GmbH, yeah, which is actually a platform that, brings promoters and DJs or musicians together.
Uh-huh.
And I started, they gave me a job right away. And that, for me, it was perfect. Finish music management business studies, and then find a job in Berlin. They didn't pay well. And yeah, but that was the reason to come to Berlin. Yeah. So I never actually thought about moving to Berlin, but you did. But I did at the end of the day. Yeah. Yeah. And then also back then I already started to produce more techno-ish or like 4 to the floor tracks. Compared to the hip-hop stuff. I was also connected to the hip-hop scene, played in Casapaya and all these hip-hop clubs here in Berlin. But then slowly, I really found that dance floor music is what I want to do. Because like I had one gig in Amsterdam and I played like a hybrid DJ sets with all own tracks with the hip-hop project. And it was really like, I can see people dancing once and then they stopped dancing, because that was more headphone music actually.
Uh-huh.
And then I really realized, no, I want people to dance. And the funny part is that before I started producing hip hop,
Uh-huh.
I already did techno in 1994. When I was a kid, we like had this groove box from Roland and we were playing around with this. So I always did this. And so for me, it was more coming back to mothership techno, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And that's the journey in Berlin, actually, how it started. Yeah.
So it was already a thing, like these creative blocks were already a part of your life since day one somehow?
Yeah, I can say so, because like the first music that really inspired me was like minimal techno. It was like in that days when Marusha and Westbam were, where I was 14 years old and I watched Mayday, on the television.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could not go there because I was too young,
of course.
but it really soaked me in. And then we were like also connected with Shoko Records
Uh-huh.
in my hometown, which is like a really small hometown in Swabia. And then we were hanging there. And then there was, we were playing some records. And there was this guy coming in saying, hey, you good? You want to be a warm-up DJ in our club? And we're like 11 years old. And we're like, doesn't he know that we are just, 11 years old? We're like, yeah, let's do it. So me and a friend of mine and me, we every Friday, he slept over at my place because my mother was quite chilled and let us go. And then we went to the club from 10 to 12 with 11 years old and played some techno records. So that's really a true story. And the funny part is
How? There was no adult with you?
no,
Come on.
really not. Yeah, it's true story, man. Really. So we went there with 11, and there was a queue in front of this techno club, and then the bouncers let us in because the organizers, they were our friends, right? And they were 20 years old, so they were 10 years older. You know David Gomez, you know him, and Elif Tzirudis, and those two guys, they did these techno parties, and they invited us, and we played from 10 to 12, and we had to go of the, that was the law.
Okay. So that's how the circle closed itself.
Yeah.
Okay, David.
So and then we were hanging with these guys for, let's say, 10 years, and then I became 18, and we lost connection. And then 16 years later in Berghain, toilet came, door opened, and David came out. I'm like, hey, David, and he didn't even recognize me because I was 11 years old when he saw me last time. And then he's like, okay, and he went crazy. Then we were together again. So it's a funny story.
I remember the one we've met, you already told me hey, we do have common friends. So
yeah.
Funny to see that.
Yeah.
Cool story, man. Cool story.
It is. It's special because it's also. I also did a track with him later on my label, together, and it was a special thing to me to have him together on a vinyl record. And then I went to this place, and then he was so enlightened by that, and he was so glad to have this track on vinyl. Anyway, so it's a crazy story, and that's how I started also focus more on music. Then I also got connected with Oliver Deutschmann and Eric Cloutier and Kai Geiger. Well, that was that kind of click back then in 2016. They also pushed me to make more music, and that really makes sense. I mean, Eric and Kyle, they were the first ones who played my unreleased music in Berghain, and for me it was like, okay, they showed me, look, it's possible, you can do it, and that really gave me the drive to focus on it and keep going. So there was always people that in the city that helped me progress and also learn and follow this thing, so therefore it's a special base in that sense.
It is 100%.
I also got chance now, like last year or this year especially, to play in Tresor more often. I really get supported there. I played at her 6 times, and that also helps to promote my music and to promote me as a DJ. But it's also a plan, and it's also on the bucket list to really use that sales approach in that scene, because I'm actually good at it. In all these jobs, taking the phone, calling these people, annoying them as long as I need that. And also Michael Miller, also from Triangle Agency, he's living in my around the corner where I live, and I just met him after years, and I didn't even know that he's not working there. And he also said to me hey, because I said, I don't want to annoy people, can I have doing a podcast for bigger labels? He's like, you're not annoying. You asking once, and then you may be asking twice. That's not annoying, because for me, I'm a passionate producer and a DJ. I love to play music, and so you have to put that aside when you put the sales approach.
How do you combine this? Because you're still gonna be very creative to be able to produce good music, to play good music, to play it in a nice way, to do a DJ's job plus the producer job, which is already very consuming. What's the time? Time consuming. But when you have the whole other part, which is then your own management, the promotion, texting people, etc. How is it doable nowadays with a full-time job, to do it? Because you really got to show some dedication, and coming back to what you said about that drive.
True.
What's your experience nowadays?
Well, I think first of all, you have to have a plan it's like a business plan, right? So you like when I compare it to my jobs in sales, you have to have a pipeline. You have to build up a pipeline, and then you like at some point, like you build up a wave, and at some point you can surf the wave, right? So that's how we say in sales, right? So but first of all, you have to push, you know? So of course, you sit down, you gather information, you need to know who to write to, who to talk to, and then you have to actually, you know, build the pipeline.
Yeah, sure.
And that means you have to, you know, sit down and like write emails for hours or like send Instagram messages for hours. But then I also discussed this with one of my mates, Christian Maras, for the last release, and I also asked him how you do it. What's your approach? How we can find a way, not being annoying, not being pushy, but still getting to those people and get their attention. And then he said, like, yeah, he has a different approach, but still he has also jobs to do. And he's not a full-time DJ in that sense, but he, like, every 3 minutes on the way to work, he sends the messages. And that was a wow moment. Like, okay, I have to learn this. And because I'm probably, in that sense, I'm quite, like, I'm a little lazy. Because I don't want to spend every 3 minutes I have to push there. Because at some point, you're exhausted, and that's not the point of it. Because you want to have the energy on the dance floor, or you want to have the energy when you're entering the studio and want to do music. And if you have like a really exhausting job, like a sales job is exhausting, then it's tough to balance your energies, especially when you're getting older. And I'm not 20 something, I'm 40 something, and that's also a part of it, you know. And also that's a really important thought I had all the time. It's also the society, or let's not put it society, but the scene is also deciding who's in or who's not, or who's interesting or not, or whatever. So you can have a bit bigger output, and you can have connections, whatever. But if the scene is not digging your stuff, then it's also maybe not working out, right? Or it just takes time, or I don't know.
On the other side, like it's super interesting what you say, and like if I can complete your explanation, is that you've been in the scene for a long time.
Yeah.
The scene nowadays, it's evolving much faster than it did over the 10 last years. I would say like over the 2 last years, it evolved like way faster than over the 5 to 10 last years.
Exactly.
So also like to keep riding that wave that you build up over the years is very, very tough. Plus, as you perfectly mentioned, like the scene decides who's cool and who's not. On the other side, this also means that the changes like very fast and can be very abrupt, because like I don't think that an artist is like exploding. He's gonna keep on the long term.
Yeah.
So if you keep up like I don't know if you know Shami personally.
Jami, yeah, personally.
Incredible person. If you had a chance like to talk to him, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And he really has, he explained me like his nice way, and with a very nice way, that if you explode at once, and then you might fall down literally at once. But like if you slowly build it up step by step, on the long term, you're just gonna keep a long and sustainable career. But on the other side, you really gotta show up consistently, day after day, month after month, year after year, and over the years, this can have an impact on your drive and on your private life and on your professional life, especially if you do have a full-time job next to that. Plus you have the concurrence and the younger DJs who have more time. They are absorbed by their dreams, etc.
And they have the energy. A mid-20 something like DJ is they're also more connected to the scene, probably. You know, and but what I want to say is also my chance, like I see it, is to have a bigger output on the production side, because I can also see, like for example, Against Me or Red Rooms, they have their breakthrough not because they hang on parties all the time with the promoters or they're writing emails all day long, because that's not how it works all the time or for everyone. For others, it's also their chance to show that they're really, really talented on the production side. And, maybe I'm, maybe that's, maybe sounds a little bit arrogant, but I think I have talent in production. It's not everyone's taste, but like over the years, DJs played my set, also in America and everywhere. I don't even know, and therefore, the question is, okay, can you accelerate your output on the production side? It makes way more sense to me than sit down and find promoters' names on Instagram and send them messages they never read, so. Because they get overwhelmed by all the others that want to be a DJ and producer at the time.
Can imagine, yeah.
And that's the thing I can see in the scene, because it's like water or like electricity. Every day there is another DJ coming up, and that's how would you keep up with that? And all these promoters also get flooded by, hey, can you, like, even myself, I get, like, every second day I get a demo from someone I don't even know. And, how you can find the right one or the one who's like blowing up now. So what else you can do is, sticking, like you said, sticking to your profession and, putting out releases. That's what I actually planned for next year also. Having releases also on established beta labels, if I get the chance to. I'm like, so, and that's maybe also a way to get your name out, and also that it's authentic. They can see you grow. Like I said, I don't compare myself with a younger DJ. Last time I saw Jeff Mills also saying that he was also a long time worried about, we're old, we cannot keep up with someone who's like younger. But then he realized, okay, the younger DJ is not doing something faster, right? And the experience and the
she's fucking Jeff Smith.
Right. But still, he asked this. He's thinking about these things. So it really helped me, and it really came to at the moment. I could hear him saying this to give me a good feeling, like, hey, okay, you 40 something, that's
it's a natural way of thinking. So how do you compare yourself, or do you keep yourself sane by not comparing yourself too much to others? What's the trick?
I'm really good in being, like a lone wolf in a sense. I don't fear to miss out. That's why I don't need to go out every weekend. I go out when I play, when I get booked. Let's say Tresor or somewhere else. Then obviously I go there and have a nice party, and I stay a little longer and I talk to people. But on the other side, I actually living probably like kind of a boring life, like going to bed early, having my sleep, going to work, doing my thing, earning money to afford equipment and maybe also vinyl record production, because it's expensive stuff, and then being also fit and awake on the weekend, on a Friday or Saturday to you do your fucking production. And that's, so I cannot, the day has only 24 hours, so I have to choose. And Kai Geiger also said to me once when he caught me in the act on the dance floor, and he said, like, you go, why you on this fucking dance floor again? You go and do your fucking beats, because he always could see that, and he always was a mentor in that sense, to give me the idea, like, hey, you can waste your time. And what he said, yeah, it gets boring, right? So he tried to give me the idea, like, hey, you spend your time on your profession, on your skills, and get your signature better and better you know, that's what I learned from those people.
I agree. Like, it's funny that you say this because like Kyle had a big impact on my life, I would say.
Yeah.
He was also one of the first person I talked to when I first put the project together 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I asked him, hey Kyle, what do I do to get where you are? And he told me, like, if you get a few drinks every few and then on Saturday night, your week starts on Monday, 10:30. If you get smashed every weekend, your efficient week starts on Wednesday afternoon. It's math at the end.
True.
And you make the calculation. Then I went to the other extreme. Like, how do I make the normal life to have a high intensity and just like to focus to 1% on that?
Yeah.
And you just dig in.
Yeah.
On the other hand, my good friend Natalie Ogazon, she said like on a telecom interview lately that to be able to be a good DJ, you gotta go on a dance floor.
Right.
You
really, I heard that too. Yeah.
You really gotta go on a dance floor and understand. So like depending, then it's more like to reflect on that. It's more about what you do.
True.
And how you do it. Because like nowadays, intoxication is misleaded to enjoyment. And the abuse of substances is also like way more present in many different layers of society and like between the different ages. Like just look at how the Gen Z does substances nowadays. I don't have the feeling we did that back in the days.
Well, yeah, it's a good point. I saw that interview also, and it was just that one sentence saying, like, if you want to be a good DJ, you have to know what's happening on the dance floor, and that's exactly what I did. But at some point, it's just excess, and that's what because he was also going out quite often. So actually, he did the same thing. But the funny part is he was older and he was already doing it, and he could see, like, look, like, you want this, but you're not there yet, and what you do is like you are, maybe you're not believing in it, and then that's why you waste your time on the dance floor getting intoxicated, doing drugs and then being wasted, and then having maybe like these enlightenments of being on the other side of the dance floor. And I also had another like enlightening moment on actually the background dance floor when I saw, like, there was back then when Kobozi was still good doing nice DJ sets, and he said to me, hey, it's always nice to see you down there on the dance floor. And then I said, okay, if I want to be on the other side, I cannot be on the dance floor all the time. It doesn't say I cannot go out and have a dance, but I also, like, over the years, I really could see those DJs. They were like more at the bar, at the side, maybe dancing a little, but not like me in front of the DJ booth, like, being like a fan in a way,
However, I mean, like, to complete what you're saying is like, I've observed that nowadays many people from the dance floor want to stand behind the decks. And it's not really it's not anymore that much about the music, but more about everything that goes around it. The ego, the fame, and like being a DJ and the lifestyle. It's not about, I'm not saying this is wrong. I do have a certain opinion about the motivation of certain people to become a DJ. Like, that's my opinion. But the dynamic changed in becoming an artist. Because like at the beginning, also looking at our insights, DJs like Techno it's constantly evolving. And I also would say, and like we can discuss about this for months, about the fact that it's music that's produced in a bedroom or in a studio, right? But like nowadays, there is this whole social media sphere, right, that's putting this more on the side, where you don't necessarily need to be that skilled, that passionate, that involved in the whole music production and interest into the music. Again, not saying this is wrong. It's changing with social media, etc. The rules are not the same. It's a lot about how you look, how you perform, how you're on social media, how you sell yourself, how you get sold if you have an agency, and there's all these different factories and and everything can happen, you know, like whether you're based in Berlin or in London or in Amsterdam or in Mexico or whatever.
Yeah.
It has incredible sides. It has horrible sides. Berlin is oversaturated. There's on the other side, like, for example, people, which I'm very grateful for, that are approaching me, especially like at the club, saying like, hey, I do come from Mexico, Singapore, Australia. I follow the podcast.
Right.
So you do have, or like my point is like, whether we do have a highly saturated scene, we still have a very interconnected scene with all these amazing people passionate about this, the same thing all around the planet, and we do share the same love for the same thing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, you know, since, you know, I started music, like I said, when I was 11. I focused on this my whole life. And for me, the whole social media part came so late. And I studied, and I had my first release when I was 26. So it was a whole different time. So my like subconscious, my character in like as a musician doesn't give a shit about Instagram or, and if I see people, you know, they might think, oh, I want to be like those DJs who like being filmed while they DJ, you know? Like I always miss that part. If I play a set somewhere, and I never get the chance to make a video out of it just to post it on Instagram. And that's what annoys me with the scene. And there's also some other DJs like Rega or others that said, well, I'm stopping posting videos of my DJ sets because actually it's for the club. It's for those people who come to the club. They want to hear the music, they want to dance, and it's not for making a video for Instagram. So it downgrades to actually only that reason, for that purpose, you know. And one thing that is really important to me in that sense is that we need those channels. It helps us to grow. But if we then mix it up with the idea that we need to produce our content for that channel, then we're wrong. You know, it's like I said, you produce like you have a release, you spend months on these tracks, hours of producing it, then you bring it to the mastering studio. They spend other hours on that. You pay a lot of money on that, and then it gets released, maybe on a vinyl record. Also pretty expensive. And then at the end of the day, it's just like free clips for 1 minute on Instagram. I mean, that's extreme. I say you need that. But on the other side, it's also sad to see that that's the only way people get to see you or listen to your music in that sense. Okay, those who are really interested, or DJs, you send them a promo or whatever. So it gets its way out. But at the end, it degenerates to only be pushed
introduce you as an artist. And I mean, that's exactly what we're going to do with the platform as well. Is like right now we established, and now we want also like to push artists music on there as well, like to be able to showcase, especially like give them a voice. I mean, like not only to artists, but like since you're here and you're a producer, we have this theme like right now. Push you as an artist, push your music, like offer visibility, like that, you know, okay, like if you land up on a channel, it can be good music, just like as other channels are doing it on their way.
They do it.
Hate, her,
Rave Girls or whatever.
You name them. Like it doesn't matter like in what kind of genres. Like there's also like kind of house, micro, minimal, whatever kind of sound. Like we want to do it in our way, and like this is what we're gonna do, because like so you guys and girls and whatever can focus on your music while we do the boring part for you, part that we enjoy doing, you know, because like kind of like building that huge portfolio and archive of like modern club culture.
Yeah, it has both sides, you know. Like I love to be on Instagram. I love Instagram. It's not like I said, wow, these social media channels.
Don't get me wrong. Like, no. What I mean is like it's not only teenagers. Like also like see plenty of people around my generation.
Right.
In 20s, early mid 30s that are clearly putting on that putting way more importance on the gram than on the art of the music, which is against a choice which I will not judge. But the focus is different. So it was more an observation about something that, as I said, as I observed over the last years, especially since Corona.
Right. Yeah. What I mean, if I switch also to again to some artists that also maybe did switch to better focus on music, we really can see that. Like the last couple of years, like the last 5 years, there was so much good music coming out, and that's I really can see that there is artists out there. They might be good on the Instagram thing, yeah, but they still also do their art and bring out some good music, and me as a DJ in that sense pick that up and then can play nice sets, and that's a lot of fun. So I'm still full of passion for this scene and still in love, and then it's not important if I make it with it or not, or if I do a side job or not, or it's like I see myself as part of this movement, of the scene, and it's a privilege also. That's like something that also really moves me in that sense, that in these times where we have pandemics, we have wars, we have poorness, we have craziness on this planet, and we still we are safe and we are able to discuss these things and be able to go to a club and party the shit out of us, and play good music. That's a privilege, and that's something that this is really way more worth to think about than if I make it or not, or can I make a living out of it or not, or and but I still want to make a living out of it at the end of the day, because then it's paid holidays in that sense.
100%.
Even though it might be sometimes also stressful to travel all the time, and it's a sacrifice.
It's the bad part of the job, somehow, how we deal with it, etc.
Yeah, but it's still then this privilege to be able to do that in such a world where other people don't even
100%. Be grateful.
Yeah, gratefulness. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm a humble and grateful guy, and I know I learned to be intrinsic in that sense, and create it from inside, like validation, which other people need from Instagram or from DJ sets they play when they travel around the world, but then being in a hotel room and there's no validation again, and then they feel empty or whatever. I don't know.
That shit's real. That's really
and
real.
It's a topic.
Yeah.
It's a big topic in how many all the successful people I know. My buddy Charles, Matrix Man, when in the pandemic, when all the clubs were closed, and it was hard for him, and we talked about it, and I felt so sorry for this because I had my job, and I could pay my rent, and that's the downside of it. And also, if you're depending on being an artist, it's a tough thing to do, and I respect that, and I want that, obviously. Who doesn't want that, if you're in the scene. But I also don't smash my life if I'm not be able to do that.
I don't think people really realize the price you're gonna pay to get there.
Exactly.
And that's something that's totally underestimated on every single aspect. Let it be mental health, let it be sleep, let it be financial stability, let it be your own education, let it be relationship.
Good point.
Having a partner, having friends, having sane friends. There's so many different aspects where, this would be definitely another podcast topic that we discuss about it, just to establish a kind of solid discussion about everything that can be done to make a solid and healthy living out of an artist's career. I think it is very tough nowadays. I clearly underestimated this when I started. like as a tattoo artist.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to what you said before with the Instagram promotion, etc.
Yeah.
I hear my ex-colleague's voice when you say this. Traditional guy, does amazing tattoos, only knows this way of working.
Yeah.
He was shitting on the rest, like not in a bad way, you know, but like
Yeah,
that was the way.
And smile with this, bro.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, like the work was clearly well done. Everything that was happening, like the moment the client enters the shop and leaves the shop after getting the tattoo and the whole experience, everything was like fucking perfect. He hated social media,
but you need it.
I was learning by then. And he saw me spending every day at least 1 hour on social media, and he was like, you should put your phone away and draw. And I was doing workshop, I was learning, I was informing myself. Basically, I was learning everything I didn't get told and taught by my mentors.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, the scene, like also in this field, is evolving very fast, and you have to keep up on that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And we don't have contact anymore nowadays, because like he moved away from Berlin, and I always thought, I don't agree with you, because this is going to be social media, is going to be a mess, and I prefer to get to know how it really works, especially on the midterm, long term. And I mean, that's also why we're doing this fucking podcast. It's like, is to create high quality content with interesting people, and to put value online, is because you have so much trash. So how could you make, or like, can you make yourself interesting and then collaborate with other people to put the very best online and to improve you, the other person, show cool stuff to the world, and then get bookings, whether it's a gig or a tattoo, whatever,
anything,
job, everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is a good point, because like being happy with what you do in terms of whatever your art is, like, is it music, is it tattooing? I don't see a difference in that sense. That is, like, if you have a talent for it, then you have to work for it. This is also like this Shaolin sword kind of master who's doing this Shaolin sword said, like talent is nothing if you don't put work on it. So you have to be consistent, and you have to, like, every day, whatever. And then when it comes to social media, it became also an art to be, like, interesting to people, but still like being authentic, showing what you got, and that's also fine, because it's all entertainment. That's all our life is like that, you know, and it's fine. It's super, you know, because I also enjoy that, you know, and the creative part of it, that's what I want to say. Like,
it's art.
It is art, and therefore, so, like I said, again, Instagram is nice, or all these other channels, whatever it is, people are making an art of it, even if it's Thread, or back in the years Twitter, now X or whatever. If they, you know, putting like one sentence, and you can laugh about it, and like 100 people are commenting it and getting into a conversation, to me, that's also art. You know, it's like, it's entertainment, it's art, it's fun, and makes our life interesting. And you know,
look at the meme culture.
Right. Exactly. And I would not like to live without it, you know, and it's, well, to some extent.
No, of course, I get it. Like, I was just like scanning in my head, like, my own real consumption, like a meme consumption. Otherwise,
meme consumption. You want to talk about this?
There is like, I need to detox.
You definitely need to lower your meme consumption, man.
I have a few groups where I'm like, I'm gonna tell my friends, like, okay, I'm gonna take a step back about this, because it
gets out of hand.
I enjoy it, but it's still like, okay, I just want to prioritize ads, because like, I would say I use that as a counter effect to all the pressure that I'm dealing with. So it was like, hey, now I'm gonna just like spend 15 minutes on my phone and watch dumb shit,
right?
Just to decompress, and then you go back to it. Cool. But at the end, it just like keeps stimulating your brain all the time, and I don't think that's that's a healthy way. I should just like go and have a walk for like 15 minutes and leave my phone at home and just like do that, you know. we're talking about optimization.
It's always a question to what extent we using or misusing all the things we have, and that's why I'm saying I came to a point where I said, acceptance is a part, like accept your situation, and it's not said you cannot progress or you cannot get somewhere where you want or whatever, but the more you accept where you are at the moment, the better you progress to get there where 100%. You want. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I'm totally fine, and I'm lucky to be part of the scene and putting my music out, and then if there's some new TikTok channel, I mean, I'm not out on TikTok, but okay, fair. People doing their art over there, and I try to be there where I think it's fine to be, and yeah. What else?
Fair enough. I have one last question.
Yeah,
you're gonna be curating the new phases of Tresor next year.
Oh yeah. I finally got the chance to do that.
Congratulations.
I mean, like since Tresor and the promoters, they're really good guys, and they really helped me, going my way, and they seem to like my music also, and I think it also fits in that club. And then I approached him and said, like, hey, how is it going to work? And then he's like, yeah, you can do it like next year. It's really busy. Like many people want to do this, and we need to find a date. But then I'm going to do this, and it's also, a pleasure to be able to curate and also help other newcomers, to get their name out. And it became quite popular also, those parties, sometimes a little bit more crowded than the weekends. But still, let's see. I'm curious about that. And also, I don't have a date yet, but it will come next year, because they're really, planning it in the start of next year, and then we'll see. I put the names then out. I put the date out if it's official, but I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, like I said, I found a home really in Tresor. Most people are not really paying attention to it, but they have good lineups there also.
They do,
and
really good.
I mean, I also had the pleasure always to be on a lineup with great names I look up to, and so yeah, here we go. It's the persistence
100%
that brought me there. Also with vitamin B, maybe. Yeah, but that's how it goes, right?
That's how it goes.
That's how it worked. One time it worked. Nice one.
Ivo, thank you so much for today.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best for the future.
Yeah, you too, man. Great project, and I will keep the word out.
Thank you so much.